Little Nightmares is a horror strategy game that is as stunning as it is horrifying. The characters in this game can all range from cute and innocent to what I like to refer to as me on a Monday morning. I fell in love with this game after watching half the world's population play it, and that was over 7 years ago. Yeah, I'm old. Playing it for myself, I quickly became addicted. The second is just as magical as the first, and with the third game right around the corner, it's safe to say the devs already got my money in toll. But we're not here to drool over my crusty game collection. No, we're here about the first. See, over my time playing, I have collected every achievement, like Obese Near collected them pounds. All achievements, but one. This little shit right here, hard to the core? Yeah, this made me age about 50 years. You see, to get this achievement, you have to finish the entire base game in under an hour, which, on paper, it sounds easy enough, especially if you played it before and know what to do. However, you also can't die, like, at all, which, given my track record, yeah, I died a lot. So, with all formalities spewed, I will stop talking and we will jump right into the gameplay. Come and join me in my madness. Our journey begins with the mysterious woman. Yeah, she doesn't really do much here besides give you a mean side glance, but don't worry, okay? She'll be back later. Your time officially begins once you gain control of our main character, Six. So I will drop a spoiler warning here now in case you beautiful viewers haven't played the game yet but you plan to, because throughout this entire video I will likely talk about things that could possibly spoil the game for you. So if you haven't played yet and you plan to, I would just recommend turning the video off temporarily and just come back after you've played so I don't spoil the game for you. Now, with that out of the way, our story begins once we wake up on a sublevels of a ship. And like most games, the beginning area here is basically a tutorial of sorts. So here you'll be learning how to run, jump, crouch, and move objects. Grabbing and moving a chair to help Six open a nearby door, we wander past a disgusting pool of black goo. This goo comes from the leeches, which happens to be the first enemy the game throws your way, which also marks the starting point of where we can actually die. The leeches aren't too big of a threat as they're pretty slow and rather easy to dodge, so after making a small jump and then destroying someone's hard work, we enter into the next room. But because I am so thick in the thighs, we fall right through the floor to reveal a leech-infested area right below. Again, the leeches aren't too bad dealing with, so after showing them my sick hops, I make it past them and jack Torrance through the next door over. Continuing our way up, we pass by a little friend, and instead of following the normal path, I show that I'm dauntless by taking a leap, just to have a platform waiting on the other side. You'll have to make this jump anyway on the way back, just to get past the door before it closes on you. It just also saves you a little bit of time, which we can definitely use later on down the line. Now, once this little eyeball pops up, I open up my menu and reload my checkpoint. This isn't required, but it does drop you further into the next room, and it replenishes Six's stamina, which we can then use to cross the next room over. Here you get to meet the first main boss of the game, the janitor, as he jacks some poor kid away in a cage. Climbing up a makeshift rope, we enter into a room with the world's worst electronic door, as if you touch it, you get fried. Trust me, I know from experience. Jumping off the 2020s, I'm able to pull the lever which will temporarily kill the power. This will give me plenty of time to run through the room and get past the next electrified door before the power comes back on. Further down the hall, we have to hide in the shadows of the next room to avoid an eye that, if it sees you, it will turn you into stone. So stick to the shadows, and once you get across, you'll climb up these cages and go to the room on your right. Normally you'll hide underneath the bed once you enter this room to avoid being seen by the janitor. But if you actually run on through like I do here, he doesn't aggro, so you can just go right past him and he's never the wiser. So, climbing up the cages and then across the shelves, we enter into the next room. Here we will experience one of 5 hunger scenes. Here you'll see me skip some of this scene by making 6 trip over this trigger point, and then skipping another by grabbing a nearby wall. Again, this is not required at all, it just saves you time. And I don't even think I'd do it again after this because keeping track of all the trigger points is just too tedious for me to handle. Once my boyfriend feeds me some delicious bread, I give him a short goodbye and move on to the next area. Here we'll climb some more cages, run across a platform, and then jump onto a hanging box. Ascending the chain connected to it, there is another platform to jump to, and then more cages to climb. Getting to the top, there are 2 levers. So first, we'll pull the one on the wall to bring the box up. And then we'll use the one on the floor to move across to the next room. Jumping across, we have to pull out the cabinets in the next room over to make stairs for 6, just so we can reach and turn off the power to the electrified door down below. Through the bars on the left, we push over this box to bring up a rope for us to grab onto just to get a ride right back down to a previous area. Now we can follow our previous path and go further once we're able to squeeze through the bars. Once in the next room, we have another stone light to avoid. So slowly move across using the moving trash bins as cover, and then make it over to another bridge, and then use a nearby box to make it up to the next platform. Take a short walk through the door, and just like that, we have finished Chapter 1. Entering Chapter 2, we first start off by running up a marathon of stairs. Getting to the top, we hop through the window right into the janitor's room. Because we have little legs, we move the suitcase to a better position, we pull the lever so we can use the bed to gain access to the cabinets, we climb, break our little ankles, grab the key, throw the key, find a little toy monkey, throw said toy monkey to call the elevator, and then use it one more time to send us down. After our ride down, we encounter our second of 5 hunger scenes. And as you can see, I do try and fail the hunger skip. Future Nier said it was pointless, which it is, but past Nier was determined. So, having the munchies, I do the inhumane thing and eat my food right off the ground. And as punishment for my disgustingness, I get captured by the janitor. Starting off the janitor segment, we throw ourselves against a cage to free ourselves. And then, on our way to make our escape, we must drag this poor child in a cage over just so we can reach the pulley. Pulling this pulley will open the door, but it closes pretty quickly, so get yourself a good swing in, and then run through the door before it shuts. In the next room, we must stay on the fabric pieces to avoid being heard by the janitor. Now, this jump is a bit far, but if you just continue to run and slide into the next room, he won't follow you. And by the time he hears you turning the crank, we'll already be long gone by the time he comes in. The next area introduces the shoe monster. They are a pretty easy enemy to avoid as we only ever see them once, and that's here. But basically, you just run and jump off of objects, wade through some shoes, and make it to the other side. just to immediately enter another chase with the janitor. Now, normally with this chase, you're supposed to hide in a box on the elevator we end up in, but during my playthrough, I somehow completely forgot this part. So in my panic, I stand still right in this corner and just pray for the best, and just hope he doesn't notice me here. And to my luck, he doesn't. He kind of just feels around in the other corner where we're supposed to hide, and then eventually leaves after some gnome skis run by. Following right behind, I move a box, play some seesaw with Monkey, and end up right in the floors. Now, here I could indeed run ahead and get to the next area, but I'd rather not risk dying, so instead I opt for the safer route and wait for the janitor to walk into the next room. Once he's gone, I climb the makeshift stairs, throw Monkey, sneak through the gap, climb up the cabinets, and get to the next area, the Clock Museum. Once again destroying someone's hard work, I do play a pretty risky move here and grab a shoe before the janitor moved away. He could have easily noticed me here, because it looks like he does brush my hair with that hand. But luck was on my side, he doesn't notice me, so using the shoe I have obtained, I open the next door and make a mad dash to the next area. The library was my personal least favorite part of this section, as in previous runs I have died here multiple times. So starting off, we start by climbing up everyone's grandmother's bookcase, we jump over to the piano, and then climb up more books. Here we'll encounter a bit of a stealth section. Now, I'm just really bad at sneaking, as the janitor does aggro on me here, but before he can catch up to me, I do manage to climb up this book pile and enter into a new room. Turning on the TV will lure the janitor into the room, but don't worry, because he just has to know what is going on with the Kardashians today. He doesn't really seem to notice us leaving with the crank, and by the time he does hear us turning the crank in the next room over, it is already too late, as we are already on to the next area, one of which I have forgotten about multiple times in previous runs. Here you just pull the cart through the steam to the door, then hold on, just a little bit longer than you usually do. Now we are on to the final boss fight with the janitor. The fight officially starts off as you're going through the vents, as he will try to reach through a gap to grab you. If you just wait for him to grab the wall, you're safe to move on. Getting out of the vents, we are then chased into another elevator. Here we just climb up these cages, wait for his arms to move away from the cage he's supporting, pull out the bars on either side, and then after that, the fight is finished. Climbing on up, we shimmy our way through the nearest vent and end off the janitor section, and enter my least favorite place, the kitchen. Taking a lift with the help of Candyman's hook, we spot one of the Grubhub twins, the next big bads of this section. Dropping off, we encounter yet another hunger scene, and instead of getting a moldy piece of bread or a slab of mystery meat, we get a nice little taste of ratatouille. I always found this hunger scene to be the most heartbreaking. Not because we got to taste the ratatouille, but because in the next room, there was actual food! Despite the tragedy, we sneak on past Grub as he prepares a small meal, climb up a shelf at the end of the room, across the high beams, and enter the ultimate bro bathroom. This is how you know you're close. If you shit together, you vibe together. Heading down the hall, I intentionally knock down this pot here, as once you break it, it will immediately wake up Hub in the next room. This simply gets him to leave the area faster. Once he's gone, we're free to climb up the shelf and get to the key. Once we have it, we go down the elevator and enter another stealth section. Only now, we have both the twins to avoid. Grub stays where he was before, but now we have Hub in the main kitchen patrolling the area. Unlocking the door, we get to the meat grinder. Here, we just go up the dumbwaiter, place 3 slabs of meat on the trapdoor, and grind it all up until we can swing to the next area. Going through the freezer, I hide for a bit before breaking Hub's ankles as I make a mad dash for the elevator. Hub, of course, follows us down, which forces us to sneak by him. To get to the key that's on his workstation, I sneak to the neighboring room, switch onto the disposal, then steal the key before he comes back. Going down the elevator, we use the key to unlock another door, and drop down the trash chute into the next area. Through yet another vent, we enter the last segment for this section, the washroom. This segment alone has cost me so many runs in the past, as here, our main goal is to go to the furthest room on the right. Flip a switch on the wall, which will cause the hooks on the ceiling to move in the opposite direction. Then, I must move back to the far left, climb up a family of 30's dishes, and then grab onto a hook. This is the quote-unquote boss fight of this section, as here I must run away from the Grubhub twins before they can catch me. This part is what made this challenge so difficult for me, as I always seem to get grabbed here. But, as we can see, I seem to make it this time. I even stood in shock as when I was recording, I was on, I think, attempt 50, so I was pretty relieved to finally get past it. After gathering myself, I enter the next level, the dining area. Entering the chapter, the game immediately reminds me of what I looked like in middle school. I mean, they even got my old little waddle right. Moving along, I hop across the lights above as the patrons below waddle to their seats. In the next room, I pass the cutest little guy. I mean, look at his little feet swinging as he inhales his food. What wasn't cute was this guy mistaking me for a walking nacho chip. Scampering on over to the next room, I climb up a stack of plates, then help this lady get her daily stretches in. In this room, I take the only available seat, run away from the greasy grabbers who see me as a walking buffet, and then climb up the wall at the end of the table. Entering the next area, we do have to do a bit of back and forth here. So first we're going to run down and aggro our friend Tubbo here, then we're going to run all the way back. This simply lets us jump past him, giving us just enough time to slide into a crawl space, temporarily saving us from danger. So remember that temporary safety I literally just promised? Yeah, well, it's gone now, as soon as we get out of the crawl space, we are immediately confronted by Hub. So, hiding in the bathroom, Hub follows behind us and looks around for maybe 0.2 seconds, then he just dips out for the remainder of the game. Given my new freedom, I take an empty can, smash the toilet watcher's creepy mirror, climb up the bars. This takes us up to the ceiling of the bathroom, which gives us the perfect escape route out of the bathroom, giving us an opportunity to make it to the elevator. At the second floor, we are met with a very long hallway. I tend to call this hallway the Muncher Tsunami, as a horde of everyone and their mother begins to chase after me like I was Jake from State Farm. Yo, that was a sick flip. So after that very exhausting chase, I wasn't all too surprised when 6 got the rumblies. I'd be hungry too after all that. Little Gnomesky here offers us a nice little sausage. But 6, having a mind of her own, decides on a different meal. Yeah, I'm not recovering from that one, especially if you've played the DLC. After our very upsetting meal, we see the mysterious woman from the beginning go into the elevator. Told you guys she'd be back. And since we're already getting into everyone else's business, we follow right behind her, ending this chapter and bringing us to the final segment, the living quarters. Once we're free to move around, we head up the stairs and through the only unlocked door in the area. This is the lady's bedroom. So, to get past her without aggroing her, you just have to crouch walk at the furthest point of her room. I always liked this part as I loved listening to the lady's lullaby. Once I cross and enter her room, I immediately break the nearest thing and steal a random key. This key unlocks the door that is downstairs. But the lady doesn't take too kindly to those who steal, and she chases me down the hallway. This part always scared me due to the sound the lady makes as she's chasing you. It reminds me of Kayako from the original Ju-on movie. We continue down our only available path and soon come across a very open space that definitely won't be used in any upcoming boss fight. Destroying someone else's hard work, we do find a single mirror untouched by the lady's rage. If you don't get it, the lady's only known weakness seems to be her own reflection. If you play the DLC, it does touch onto the topic a little bit more, but I'll leave that to your discretion. But just for this lady's fight, we do have to do two things. Stay in the light, and point the mirror at her when she charges you. Do this a few times, and the boss fight should be finished. The game's official timer ends once the mirror shatters, but if I was forced to sit through the game's very long end scene, you are too. the extremely long walk, and after climbing the world's largest flight of stairs, our journey is finished.